So we are ready to have our special meeting. The very first thing, we have Chris Toohey here that wants to share some stuff with us. So I'll ask Chris to step up to the podium before we say the Pledge of Allegiance. Even. Yeah.
Am I doing this before the pledge?
Yeah, if you want to, or we can do the Pledge of Allegiance if you want to. Okay, let's do it.
Process.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to visit with you all on an announcement that I know I've already spoken to you, Mayor, and to Chris Towell. After 20 incredible years, almost 20 incredible years with this wonderful community, I am moving on in the company to another project. It'll happen in mid-February. And I cannot put it into words how hard of a decision this was to make. And I really mean that. And it's just how special this community is to myself, how welcome you guys made me feel when we came up from New Orleans, Louisiana, and after losing everything in the hurricane. And, you know, there's just something very special. And, you know, in my line of work, I have the opportunity to travel to many properties throughout our four corners of our great country for the Kemper Sports. And there's just not another presence that is felt, and I mean that, in what I get here. And, man, it just epitomizes true partnership. So, you know, again, with a very heavy heart, you know, I am announcing that I will be leaving Sand Creek Station in mid-February. And I just cannot thank you all for the incredible memories that we have. And I'm looking at the rolling slides, and it's pretty special. But got to see the golf course, you know, literally, you know, come in on the growing stages, and then all the memorable championships that we've hosted. And you don't get to host USGA championships and national championships without having great support from the citizens, from the staff, and from the elected officials. So with that, I will be forever indebted, and Newton will always hold a very, very, very special place in my heart. That said, you know I'm just a phone call away. And with the USGA championship in July, part of my obligation with the golf course and with the community is to stay engaged and to work with Dustin and to work with the USGA and the committee to ensure that we have a major, you know, successful championship in July. So I will stay involved in the USGA championship, and hopefully we'll have the opportunity to be here. I'm confident I will in early July when we get to host yet another memorable championship. So I really hate this day, but I want to thank you all very much for everything you did for me.
You were a lot younger back then.
I was. I stood with confidence. Now I don't.
Now it's incontinence.
Yeah, so, you know, I joke with Dustin, and, you know, now I say you guys can go get a real general manager and really become successful. But I will be I'm relocating to 2 properties just north of Louisville, Kentucky, that Kemper Sports owns. And we felt that this was a good move for myself to, you know, to expand my responsibilities and oversights with the company as fast as we're growing. And, you know, we're in a good place. Sand Creek Station is solid. We've got, you know, the infrastructure is established. We've got an incredible team, and the programming seems to be well in place. So, you know, it's never a right time, but the timing was good, and I feel like, you know, the stars are aligned to, you know, make this hard decision. So I'll be around for a few more weeks. Certainly will come bug you guys from time to time, and I can't tell you how hard this is and how much I will miss all of you.
So how many Kemper courses are there? And
In the company's portfolio right now, say we've got about 120,
and you were number one in customer satisfaction for how many?
13 years.
13 years.
Outside of Kemper, that was actually in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
And we actually improved our loyalty index again.
Yeah.
So, and listen, you're only as good as the people that you work with. And,
Yeah.
you know, I've got one right here, and I mean that with the staff as well. I mean, there's a lot of winning ingredients. It takes a lot of ingredients to make a winning formula, and we've got that. And that goes to, you know, everything that you all provide us with support. So the search is underway. You've met Val D'Souza, our Vice President of Operations, who will still continue to oversee this account. And, you know, we'll see what we can do as far as landing and I know we'll land a very, you know, successful manager because of the property's success and its brand. I know there'll be a lot of interest. You guys built a thoroughbred.
Yep.
You guys made our jobs easy, so stand for any questions if anybody has anything, but I really will miss all of you.
We've never met.
I thought I did, because when I
Did we?
saw the name, I thought we had met, but
Okay.
sorry to,
I've met a lot of people, so I apologize if we have met.
Yeah, well,
But
it's,
I just want to say that I felt how hard that was for you to make that decision. I could actually feel that.
harder than you know.
Yeah, and I'm sure. And I appreciate the kind words you say about our community, because we are a strong community. We do have a lot of good people here that reach out and want to help, and the commission is a great group of people too that want to do that. So I think I appreciate you saying the kind words about our community and how that was helpful for you. But
I meant it.
I'm excited for you,
Thank you.
and I hope that you are able to continue to succeed. I'm sure you will.
We'll see.
And in your new adventures.
Thank you.
So good luck with that.
I appreciate
You,
that.
you should aim for second place.
That's what I was going to say.
Coming after you, Dustin.
Somebody has to be the first loser, Chris. So, you know, thank you for building a great team out there and keeping that course alive as it's aged. I mean, it has aged, but you've helped work with the community, and thank you for everything that you've done.
And you know, your team has been watching, and they've watched you all along. I'm sure you would agree to that. And they're going to be able to pick up right where you've left off. And where you're going is going to be a very blessed place to have you. And that is, you know, how can we not wish you to use your skills somewhere else and make like what you've done here. Your team is going to take up and take off. So I know you know that.
I appreciate that. I really do. I think, you know, the St. Creek Station's not going to skip a beat, and I mean it with guys like him still there. The team, they're incredible. They're absolutely incredible. There's some days I scratch my head. That's why I have no hair on my head anymore and go, what am I doing? What do I do? Just I let them go do their thing. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
And when they make salsa like they do, they've got to be great.
I'm the one that makes all the salsas. So they're gonna
There
have
we
to,
go.
They're gonna have to take my recipes.
Somebody will
Right,
pick
you're gonna
that
have
up
to-
even too.
All right, you just added another responsibility to your job duties. So, no, I'll be around, and I promise I certainly will visit frequently.
Well, thanks,
Please
Chris.
do. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Chris.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna go cry.
Do that.
Have a good day. Have a good day.
Oh, that was sweet.
Okay, we have a consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Consider a resolution for the Carriage Factory to serve complimentary alcoholic beverages or cereal malt beverages at events promoting the arts. Chris?
Yeah, and this is an action item that you guys had taken previously per the request of Carriage Factory to serve alcohol. There's a statutory provision that allows for nonprofits that are putting on events in furtherance of the arts. It does require a local approval. This resolution is that local approval. Should set forth the dates of their future events. I would stand for any questions.
Do you know, that's the number of events this year?
I believe, let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, it has the dates in the whereas clause, but it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them with the dates included.
Denise?
Yes, that'd be Resolution G-1334.
I move that we accept Resolution G-1334 for Carriage Factory Gallery.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Continued discussions regarding Lincoln Park Apartments forgiveness of 2002 loan. Chris and Rebecca.
And I can just open it up for you. This is a continued item. As you recall, at our last city commission meeting, you heard a request via Zoom for that partial forgiveness. You asked for some further documentation. That's been provided to you. I know that a number of you have toured the facility. This is just open for additional discussion and direction. Questions to staff, whatever your pleasure on that. And I know that there's only 4 or 5 today. If you feel it's more appropriate to include Leroy in those discussions. We don't need any final answers, but general direction, outstanding questions, concerns, issues. If the information provided was that responsive to your request, it did have some of the information in terms of the rent and the age demographics of the residents, as well as the proposed distribution of funds as to the pending PSA.
I'm not really sure how to, I guess, put this, but after touring it, and then again, as I reflect back to the last meeting that we had where I commented with regard to why would you do what you did as far as do a big remodel renovation project like this, only to know that you were going to run the ship as tight as you did and would have to. And then the place looks very nice. Their manager is also managing other properties and is there, I think, 2 days a week. That might contribute to why others have moved out, and that gentleman that was on the screen didn't deny that. I just remain unfavorable like I was the last time.
I'm still not clear why we don't have a dog in this fight. I mean, this was an agreement that they made to repay the loans according to the terms and everything, and I just don't see a benefit, and I would love if somebody could help me with that, of what would our community get by forgiving $100,000. I mean, what do we gain? Do we gain additional units? Do we gain, what would our community gain out of that? And if somebody can tell me that, then maybe I would be prone to making some sort of a decision. At this point, I'm not in favor of any.
That's fair. And one item that staff is working on from the management entity is to set up a meeting with the purchaser, and that hasn't happened yet. If there's something to report back on that, we surely will. To Rod's question that he asked is the sale contingent on the forgiveness? If there was some argument that the city would benefit from that transaction going through. We don't have that information yet, but we're working to schedule that meeting and would report that back.
Well, good. I appreciate that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Didn't we last meeting ask about financial documentation, like that this individual provide us with some financial documentation as to like, you know, I think what we were looking for was to see if whether or not he really could or could not have afforded to make the payments type of thing, I think is what we were, where we were going with that. Is that correct? Or am I not?
Yeah, and if
Okay.
if you need further information, I think that may be information that we had received earlier was not included in this agenda packet, and I can definitely supplement to provide that to you.
Okay.
My target was the essentially distribution at closing financial, but I understand what you're saying in terms of those financials, and I believe that we do have them and can get them to you.
Okay. Okay. So,
Well, I think that we would have a hard sell to our public, too.
yeah.
Telling our public that we forgave a loan, I don't, that would be the thing. In answer to Rich's question, what we would gain a number of very upset citizens by doing something like that. Because they, in first place, they wouldn't have all the information. They might not understand the why. And ultimately, if even if it's the best decision, it would just, to not grant forgiveness of the loan, people, I think, would have a very difficult time knowing that we would do something like that.
I mean, because this was a 9% LITH, a low-income housing tax credit, so they got 9% of the overall project for 10 years, so they got 90% of it forgiven under that. And then they're asking for this forgiveness as well. I don't see a benefit to our community, so additional information, please.
Understood. We can report back on that meeting and also provide the financials that Melanie provided. I'll email you, and if it's not enough, please let me know.
Yes.
And then we'll plan on this coming back as a future item.
Yeah, the closest thing that I see to a closing statement, which is what I really want to see, is a developer fee payable for $215,000. So that
That would be junior to us, yeah.
yeah, I assume that goes to the owners.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So if we forgive based on this, if we forgive $100,000, they walk away with $272,000.
Which I believe they would say is some sort of note payback or for services
Yeah.
rendered. But yeah, essentially, I agree with you.
Okay. Yeah. That doesn't set right with me too, because the city shouldn't shield the risk for someone else's investment.
Understood.
Anyway, that's the way I feel. So we'll just,
Yeah, no binding action today.
Yeah.
We'll move forward on it and have more to report back.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the Cow Palace Sewer Extension. Suzanne.
Yes, Commissioners, we've been talking about this project for about a year now. Full Vision came to us and requested to be annexed into the city, and we annexed them in. Then they requested sanitary sewer, and we needed to go out and get plans developed, construction drawings, and get state approvals and obtain easements, and we've done all of that. We have the plans ready. We're ready to put the project out to bid now. Originally, we were looking at the east side of Cow Palace Road. We moved it over to the west side and had to get additional easements. So all of that is taken care of. And if you recall, the city committed in the development agreement with Full Vision, the city will pay 20% of the cost of the total sewer project, and Full Vision pays for 80% of the project. So we now have the plans ready and would like to put the project out to bid on January 18th. And then we would bring it back at the commission meeting following that to you with the bids. You can see on the screen, it kind of shows the sewer line on the west side of Cow Palace Road. We'll be going under US 50 and all the way down to Full Vision's building.
Okay, any questions?
Date and time is,
And how many employees was this going to house? The expansion, how many more?
Do you know? 35.
45?
35,
Oh,
I
35.
believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I move that we receive plans and specifications for Cow Palace Sewer Extension to serve Full Vision and set the date and time to receive bids to January 18, 2024 at 11 a.m.
I second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Washington Road Water and Sewer Project, Suzanne.
Okay, Commissioners, we had several bids that were opened on December 21st last week at 11 o'clock, and this was one of those projects. If you recall, we've got a map that's kind of shown here on the screen. We have a water line and sewer lines that were being extended in the area along Washington Road north of 14th Street. For various reasons, a water line, we were needing to get some looping in. We have old lines that were small. We need to make sure we have better fire flows, better flows overall. And we received 4 bids on the project, and the low bid, we combined the two so that it was a large enough project that we'd have people interested. The low bidder was Donlinger and Sons at $268,481, and staff would recommend that you award bids to this contractor.
Did you say you were combining 2 of the bids?
We're combining the water portion and the sanitary sewer
Okay.
portion. They're 2 separate projects that we
Okay.
put together.
Okay.
But the same contractor will build both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's what you meant.
That's what you kind of see on the bid tab. The top portion is the water line, and then the bottom portion is the sewer portion.
Okay.
So we need a motion to award the bids to the
Yes.
successful bidder.
I would make that motion to award bids to Donlinger.
Okay,
Aye. Oh,
second?
second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Thank you.
Fox Ridge Phase 1, water, streets, drainage, and intersection improvements. Suzanne.
Yes, Commissioners. This Fox Ridge Phase 1, that's the east half of, that's the wrong picture on the screen. That's the next item, so just don't get confused by that. We may not have a picture for this. This is the east half of the Fox Ridge addition, and there are multiple different pieces to this bid. And if you recall, we talked about this before we put it out to bid. The developer wanted to combine the water, the intersection on Southeast 10th and Southeast 14th Street, the paving and the storm sewer improvements, and wanted to combine that all as one project. So we would bid it out and have one prime contractor. They requested asphalt streets, and we allow that as long as they are being designed and constructed according to our specifications. And so you have several pages of a bid tab this time because this is a little bit different. But the top page that looks like this is the overall, and Pearson Construction was the low bidder. 2 of the 3 bids that we received were under the estimate. And these dollar amounts that are shown here, they include the alternate for the concrete weir that will go in just south of Country Club Drive. There's a box culvert there, and there's a little pond, and there's a weir that will go in at that location south of there. And that was included as an alternate because the developer and their engineers did not know whether we would be able to get bids in low enough, but we were able to do that. And so that will be built with the project. Remember, these are special assessments. So the benefit district, which is the houses that would be built in here, will be paying for these improvements, except for 5% of the, I think it's actually less, or no, it's a little over 5.51% of the paving portion is paid by the city at large. That's meant to pay for the intersections. But remember, you've changed that policy since you approved this development agreement and these petitions. So anybody that comes forward later, we would not be paying for the intersections. But on this one, you're paying the 5.51% by the city at large. Everything else for the water lines, the intersection, and the remainder of the paving and the drainage is paid for by the benefit district. So those will be special assessments that will be attached to those lots within this development. And the totals that we have here are all combined, and we award the bid based on the total contract bid for all 3 of the projects. you may see that one of the individual, like an individual project, say for the paving and stormwater sewer, one of the contractors might be lower on it, but when you combine the total, Pearson is the low. And so staff is recommending that you award bids to Pearson. I would also point out, just in case you get asked any questions on this, the developer requested asphalt streets. The city asked that they go ahead and bid as concrete as an alternate, just in case, because we know we have local contractors that build concrete streets. And the one contractor, Votes Parga, that builds concrete streets, they did not provide an alternate for asphalt, but they did for concrete. So their paving price includes the concrete, but they were not the low bidder. So Pearson is the low, and we would recommend that you award bids to Pearson Construction.
Okay.
It's a little bit more complicated than a normal bid package, just because we have multiple projects involved here.
Well, I would make a motion that we award that bid to Pearson.
Got a motion
I'll second.
and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Planning Commission, zoning amendment at 1010 East 12th. Suzanne?
Yes, Commissioners, 1010 East 12th, this is on the screen now. This is the location of the park maintenance facility that we have been working on to get our park staff moved over, remember, to the, it'd be the little box there in pink. And the zoning change needs to occur because previously this was owned by the Kansas Department of Transportation. They don't have to follow any of our building code rules or zoning rules, any of that. And it was zoned professional office, but the appropriate zoning for this type of use would be a C2. So we're requesting the zoning change to a C2, which would make it just like the property to the west of it. The property to the east of it is in the county. The east line of 1010 East 12th is the city limit line. And we went through the entire zoning process. We went through the plating process. You approved that as well. The zoning was approved for recommendation to you by the Planning Commission at their meeting in November. Is that right? November, yes. And we had a waiting period, so then it was brought to you now for consideration of this zoning. The recommendation is that you do approve the C2 General Business District zoning for the property.
Okay, so first we need a motion to receive the recommendation.
I move that we receive, Rich, you work quick. I move that we receive the recommendation of the Planning Commission to change us to a C2.
Okay, I have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number.
That would be 5138-23.
Okay,
I would move that we approve ordinance 5138-23.
I second that.
got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, do we have anybody on citizens forum?
So,
Probably not, seeing how no one's here,
well,
other than Beth. Okay. And we are going to go into executive session. I don't anticipate there'll be
Yeah, no-
any action coming
no
out of it.
action.
So let's go ahead and go around the horn, and if anybody has anything they want to share for this last meeting of the year, then they can do that, and then we'll go into our executive sessions. Rich?
Sir, thank you. I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and wishing everyone a wonderful and prosperous 2024.
I would echo that. Thank you to each of you for all that you do. And I would just wish for you as well a real blessed new year, that it gets started out on the right foot.
I wish the same to you.
Thank you.
It just dawned on me when you said, let's go around the horn. I have an updated project list for you, and I'll just email it out to you all that tells us, that shows you everything we've went through during the year, which things are completed, what the status is on all of
Good.
those.
Thank you.
So I'll provide that to you, and we'll get it to media or anybody that wants it.
Okay.
And we'll post it on the website as well.
Good. Thank you.
No, sir.
I was not here all year long to see all the progress, but I do appreciate all the progression that's been going on in our community. It's been very much needed for a long time. So to me, I find that very exciting that that's occurring. And it kind of almost seemed like when I had all these ideas of what I wanted to do in the commission, and then I get here and they're already in the process of doing the things that I was wanting to get started. So that was actually, it was encouraging, actually. I mean, it was a little disappointing because I thought, oh, I was going to bring something new, but I wasn't. So, but that's okay. I'm glad that they were already on that track. So, but I wish everybody a happy new year and be prosperous and positive attitudes.
And I had coffee this morning with Daniela Rivas. She's so pleasant to be around. She's going to be really a fun person to work with, and she bumped into a couple police guys at Norm's, and they actually were on their best behavior when they met her. So I was really impressed that Jason didn't say anything to get anybody in trouble. So anyway, we've had a great year. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love the way we're all working together. You know, and 2024, I think, is going to be even better. So with that, let's go into executive session. So
Okay.
Kathy, if
All
you-
right.
So I have two motions. I would ask that we actually do the bottom one first.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
Beth one. And I think if we could reconvene at 12:45, that should provide ample
Okay.
time.
Okay.
All right, I move that the city commission recess into executive session to receive information from Beth Shelton, Harvey County EDC. The justification for closing the meeting is to discuss data relating to the financial affairs or trade secrets of a corporation, partnership, trust, or individual proprietorship. The time and place at which this meeting shall resume is 12:45 here in commission chambers.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
move that we extend our meeting another 10 minutes till 12:55.
I second the
All in
same.
favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. I move that the city commission recess in executive session to conduct discussions with legal counsel, justification closing this meeting, consult with the city attorney to discuss matter of privilege under attorney-client relationship, to resume here at,
We don't have a time, so.
she said about 10 minutes, so like 1:05, 1:07?
107.
1:07, 1:07.
I second.
Okay, all,
You got it.
Okay.
Ken. Yep, aye. Oop. Let's see. What time do we have?
One more minute, sir,
Una Mas?
and then we will.
Are we good? Okay. We are back in session, but only long enough to adjourn, so.
All right.
Yeah, Adam always sticks around, thinking maybe we're going to actually do something when he's not here, but we never do.
There's been 3 or 4 times meetings I've covered through my years where they come back and they do something. So
Yeah.
it's always
We will never lead you astray.
yeah.